Hello and welcome to Holding an Experiment, which is an exploration tool for helping you explore any area of your business. Now, you can create an experiment about anything, but one easy way to do it is to take what you've learned from what's working in your business and apply it to something that is not working in your business or something that you want to explore more. So if you want to start doing your monthly numbers, that's something you're exploring, and you found that what works is that you always remember to ask yourself 2 questions at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, you can look at what worked for what's working and apply it to what you'd like to do. And see if that will work. But the experiment is because it doesn't always work. You can't always just apply one thing to another area. Or if you think that blogging daily will increase your sales, you experiment with that. You see if blogging daily increases your sales. That's an experiment that I held a couple years ago, and I blogged about it at tarasweiger.com. I think if you just Google how to experiment blog, you'll figure it out. Or rather, how to experiment blog Tara Swigert, it'll pop right up. But so setting an experiment is super easy, but you want to be intentional about it so that it gets you the results that you truly want. So here are the steps of setting an experiment. Number 1, set a hypothesis. A hypothesis is just what you think is going to happen. So I hypothesize that if I blog every day, it's going to increase my sales. That's your hypothesis. Do not start an experiment without a hypothesis because you don't know what you're measuring, right? Sometimes people are like, well, I'm just going to start to blog every day. Great. What do you want to get out of it? What do you think that will do for you? The second thing is to set your parameters. And that means define exactly what each step means for you. So does blog daily mean every weekday, or does it mean every day, 7 days a week? And what does more sales mean? What do you hope that it will get you in measurable terms? Also in your parameters, decide when the experiment is going to end, when it's going to start and when it's going to end. Because many of us decide to experiment with things and then we never stop to measure if it's actually going well. So by setting a end date and as part of your parameters, you're going to know when you need to come back and review it. Step 3, put the systems in place to support it. So in our blogging everyday example, what are you going to need to have and do to blog every day? You're going to need ideas. You're going to need some kind of schedule. You're going to need to be able probably to have access to pictures if you use pictures. Whatever it is you're going to need, write it out, what you're going to need, and then put the support in place. If you're going to blog like afresh each day, like you're going to get up in the morning and write it, you need to set aside the time to do that. If you're going to write a bunch of blog posts and then schedule them, you need a bigger chunk of time, once a week or once every few days to do that. If you're experimenting with reviewing your numbers every month, what are you going to need? You're going to need to know what numbers you review. You're going to need to set aside time to do it. You're probably going to have to put the time in your calendar. So all of these systems make sure that your experiment actually happens. Because here's the thing, there is no failure. If your hypothesis is proved wrong, then that's data you can use for your next experiment. But you won't get any data if you don't actually do the experiment. So the only thing you have to worry about is actually carrying out the experiment, and the support systems are going to make sure you can do that easily. Step number 4, this is the last step, review. At the end of your experiment, whatever you've set in your parameters, look at, was your hypothesis true? What happened instead? If you think that blogging daily is going to get you more sales and it didn't, what did it get you? Did it get you traffic? Did it get you more shares? How can you turn that into more sales? Perhaps the issue wasn't that you weren't blogging enough. Perhaps the issue is that your site isn't converting people into sales. So what can you change about that? That's your next experiment. So that's what you're going to do. Review the results and decide what your next experiment is going to be. And now it's your turn to set an experiment. So choose your hypothesis, set your parameters, set up the systems, and then review it at the end of your experiment. I would love to hear about how this experiment works for you. So tell me, and good luck in your experiment.